Whoa, you wonderful Christians. Salt of the earth, I'm telling you. Thank God somebody has to be. Just as well be you. Somebody has to believe in this world of great confusion and Satanistic bullshit. The reason I got on here, folks, was this. I was thinking, that's a dangerous thing for me. Anyhow, this what I kind of was thinking about it, and I thought, there's a lot of things in the Bible, and Jesus even says things that there's some leeway in. Okay, it's not one of those things that is set absolutely in stone. There are some things that are. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I could be all full of shit, and if I am, I'll put it this way: just listen to what I have to say and use your own judgment on the stuff. Okay, check it out. Use your own mind because when Jesus came, you see, he wasn't an armchair warrior. He wasn't one of these. I'm going to sit over here and do as I say, but don't do as I do type people. So he was here. He was human. He was a man. I mean, and God. He knew. He knows. He knows both. He knows what you go through every day. He knows about smashing your finger with a hammer. He's a carpenter. He knew about getting splinters. He knew about stepping on stones and stubbing your toes and the whole gambit of things because he's human. So when he tells you things or talks about things, he's talking from living it for 33 years, living it. Okay. And I was thinking about one of these things because I was watching, one of these preachers, and it's always kind of struck me kind of weird. Oh, this is how you pray, and this is the only way to do it, and this and that stuff. And I'm thinking, dude, maybe, but I think you're full of shit. I mean, myself personally. They think you got to get on your knees and you got to put your hands like this and all this and that stuff and blah blah blah. And I mean, when I say blah, 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 I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just saying, I don't want to go into the whole rigmarole. So, but Jesus also says, and I'm kind of getting off the subject, but not really. He also says, keep, and there's other examples I could use, but this is just the easiest, and it comes to mind, is make the Sabbath, keep it holy, and don't work, and rest your ox, and all this and that stuff, day of rest. But he also says if one of your flock falls into a gulch or a hole or something like that, no, you go out and you dig it out of the hole. You get it out of the hole, get it up, take care of it. So he doesn't say, well, I'll wait until tomorrow. You do all right, little buddy. He doesn't say that. See? So that's what I'm saying. There's some discernment here. You gotta. It's not cut and dry. And when I was talking about prayer, I watch this pastor. This is how you pray. And some people say, if you're laying there and you're like in bed or whatever, you're laying down flat. Oh, those prayers, oh, that's lazy. Oh, this and that, and you do this and listen. God loves hearing from you. Loves it. I mean, he. I'm not gonna say he lives for it because he's God. But he created you, and he likes, he loves when you talk with him, you have a relationship with him. He likes that. And that's what I was saying before about, you're driving down the road, thank you. You're at work, you're out eating, you're do whatever you're doing, you thank you. And you talk to him, you tell him, it's a beautiful day, Lord, I'm having some troubles here, Lord, stuff like he likes hearing from you. And then maybe when you do pray that end of the day or morning or whatever you decide to, you do this and you get down on your knees and all that stuff. But stop and think about this. There's times in life when you can't do that. A bad accident's happened, and you're like, "Oh God, I need help here. I don't know what to do." And what, you stop and you get on your knees and that? No, you're trying to put a tourniquet on you, and you're asking God to help you. You don't have time to sit there and do this religious uh uh sacrimonious thing that somebody says you have to do. Because God ain't gonna hear you. It's bullshit. Yeah, I call bullshit on it. I mean, you pick up your little grandkid, and you hold him for the first time, you're like, man, look at this little, and it comes over you, and you thank God. You just don't, here, hold the kid, I ain't gotta. No, you see, there's times in life when things happen and come over you, and you just thank God. You could be in a bad accident yourself. And it's like, oh, wait a minute here, God, I got to put my leg back on and put my shoulder back in the socket and that, and quit bleeding all over the place so I can pray to you. God's going to be like, you're in no position, but I'll listen to you, buddy. You know? That's what I'm saying. Some of these people, it's like, you can't listen to them because they're so full of shit. But that's my opinion. I could be all wrong. And if I am, I'll hear from it. The big man will tell me, on Judgment Day, you said some shit, buddy. I want to hold you accountable for it. And I'll be like, yeah, and you should. You know, you got all these people running around out here, oh, cremation's bad and that stuff. Well, it doesn't really say anything about it. It does say ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Where'd you come from? Dust. God took some dust and went like this and blew into the nostril and and you came to life. But people, oh, cremation's bad, blah blah blah. And it's like, well, I honestly don't think so. And I've said this before on other videos. Coffee's probably getting cold because I don't know what is it under 20. Ain't too bad. Not hot enough to burn you. Anyways, like cremation, they say, oh, it's bad, blah 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 blah. Well, stop and think about this. When you get embalmed, they take all the fluids out of your body, put all this other stuff in there, and you're like turned into like a rubber thing that sits there for thousands and thousands and thousands of years and never decays. I mean, you tell me. And on top of that, let's go a step further. Men, ships, war, all that stuff. They're out there and they died in the water. Fish ate them up and they decayed and everything else. They weren't buried. They died in the ocean. They died in the sea. You know, there's lots of examples like that. And this is what I was saying too is, there's a lot of people out there, they got this in their mind that this is the only way it is. And it's like, well, no, it's not. It's like there's a difference between killing somebody and murdering someone. You know, God doesn't hold it against you if it's an accident. Or if you're trying to protect your life or your loved ones. He talks about that. But you got some people out there that uh, it's almost one of those things that makes me think about what good God says. You know, the people at the end days and judgment day, they say, "Oh Lord, but well, we cast out demons in your name, and we made people see, and we did all these things in your name, and we glorified you, and all this and that." And God looks at him and says, "Be gone from me. I don't know you. I didn't know you. Your name's not written in the book of life. Okay, and your deeds showed that you were this. So get away from you're gonna go burn in hell." And then there's other ones. "Well done, my faithful son," or whatever. Go on in. I don't say it, I mean, you know what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. If I leave one if I leave a word out, I've had people, like the root of evil, like people, being greedy, liking money, oh, it's a love of money. It's like I think y'all know that. You get what I'm saying, but some people have to correct you, because and that's fine. But it's like, you can get nitpicky about stuff. And honestly, I don't think God's nitpicky. He's going to look at your circumstances. And he's going to remember, I was on earth as a man. And I remember going through this and going through that. And yeah, I cut you some slack. Why? Because I'm God. You didn't do it maliciously, you know? And what you did do, you followed my commandments. You tried to follow my commandments. And when you didn't, you would come back and you asked for forgiveness and mercy. And I gave it to you. See? Why? That's why I died on the cross for you. Not me, but God, Jesus. For your past, present, and future sins. What happened to all the people that didn't know Jesus, didn't know God, didn't know his teaching? Before the Bible and before they could read, and a whole bunch of other stuff. What happened to those people? Are they just burning in hell because they didn't know? What happens to a mentally retarded person that doesn't have the capacity? I think you know the answer. But you see, he's a merciful God. He's a fair God. Unlike what we live with today. He doesn't lie, he doesn't cheat, he's fair, he's honest. And he says, when you follow me, the world will hate you. So they'll kill you for my namesake. You know, I mean, you didn't do anything wrong, but you followed me, and well, I think we'll just kill you because of that. Well, God has a special place in hell for them. I shouldn't say hell. I should say the lake of fire. Because a lot of people say hell. That's like I said, that's a holding cell. That's a retaining. You know, it's not the final quote destination for you. And the other thing too is, you know, Jesus was on the cross, and the thief said to him, I believe, blah blah blah. The thief didn't know for decades and decades and decades, and it just took one. Man, I believe your Lord, and forgive, give me, or whatever he said to him. Lord looks at him and says, "We'll be in heaven today." That guy didn't repent or anything till the last second of his life, and God let him in. So don't listen to all this. Be a good person. Follow God's commandments. The whole 9 yards. You're not going to be perfect at it, and don't beat yourself up for it. Because a lot of times you go through life and you do things and you think, oh shit, because you get involved and you get off track and you're busy with this and busy with that, and then life hits you and life comes at you and you make a decision, or you don't even really make a decision, you just react to something and you're like, oh shit, that was wrong. Well, yeah, that's why you go back to God, Jesus, and tell him you're sorry and repent. So all I'm trying to do is help clarify. Don't listen to all the bullshit out there. I was looking at guys in bed like, oh man, fancy suits. Man, they run around with fancy robes, big gold chains and medallions and crowns and everything else. And they're molesting children. Man, I'll tell you what. I mean, and, and I'll tell you what, you should just be dead. I mean, here, family. Here's a whole bunch of stuff on the wall. There, you go in there in that room, and you go take, I don't know, hour with that person, and do what you want to do, and then we'll finish it off if it ain't. You know, there's a lot of things in life I feel that way about, but that's one I feel very strongly about. The people that you know, if they'll molest and hurt, harm children, they do that to animals. They do it to adults. I mean, they're just pure evil. I mean, there's no reason to be putting them in some prison somewhere. And we're gonna study them. We're gonna get a shrink in there and we're gonna ask them a bunch of stupid questions. And yeah, and it's like, why? Why? Oh, I know why. So you can study them, so you can actually yourself use this information to your benefit, not to catch bad guys, not to do this, but to even be more evil and wicked than you are. Kind of like an Adolf Hitler. So, folks, I know maybe I was all over the map here, you know, but I think you got the gist of it. I don't want to go down every little thing and list every little thing. Everybody's circumstances are different. Things happen in your life for different reasons. But it all comes down to one thing: God will forgive you. Jesus will forgive you. You don't get to heaven except through the sacrifice, Jesus. So, and there's a lot of things, they say you got to do this, you got to do that. And I've heard this before, and that's why I brought up about Caesar. Back then, yes, they had kings and queens and dictators and rulers, and this was theirs. Okay, our system's based differently. But they'll still tell you, you got to follow what the law says. You got to follow what authority says. You got to do this. You got to do that. You're the owner. The reason this is here is because of you. Look around you and everybody around you. It's not here for the elitists. It's not here for the government. The government is here to take care and manage and do what you want. Okay? We got a bunch of crazy son of bitches out here that can't tell you what a woman or a man is and think it's okay to molest children and a bunch of shit like that. They're just demonic beings. We have that. And that just totally goes against everything we believe in. Because you see, that's what I was saying. We, the people, formed it under God. We follow God's rules, God's laws, to make this government that's way down here on the totem pole. They could go fuck off. We follow what God says and what God wants us to do. This is why this country's, at one time, greatest country in the world. Is it today? Hasn't been for quite a while. It's just been getting more and more wicked and evil. But there'll be an awakening. Because God told you, come out of her, my people. Else you're gonna go through the same tribulation and stuff as everyone else if you don't. You see, the government, like I said before, if the government tells you to go run around and be a pedophile, and that's okay. No, you don't run around and be a pedophile. That's not okay. God is against that. You don't do things that God says no. And just because the government says, it's okay, no, it's not. You don't follow that stuff. Like I said, the representation, just because they say something, God has a special place for them. And the reason all this is about a Declaration of Independence, because the tyranny from Britain and the king, and the last straw, and they said, you have a right to petition the government, you have a right to free speech, you have a right to to peacefully assemble, but freedom of press, because all that right there is what you can put out there and say what you want to say. Basically, that's what it comes down to. So hopefully you don't have to go to the Second Amendment. Hopefully they'll listen, and enough people will listen that this stuff will not happen, and it's all settled peaceably. But if not, you got the Second Amendment because they wrote it because of the tyranny that was going on. This is why it's important to elect people that have a belief, a cornerstone, a foundation that's built on solid rock, granite. God talks about a foundation. And these people don't have it. They're evil. They're just wicked. I mean, look at that list. I don't know. I wasn't there. And they could have just added people to a list, but that Epstein list is quite extensive. Whether you could believe it or not, that's coming from the government. The hell no. Okay? But take it with a grain of salt. Some people on that list are just being put on a list because they want to get at them. And some people are on the list because, and some people might have been taken off a list. But what gets me is they weren't. And they're very powerful, very wealthy people, and they're still on that list. Say, so I don't know. It's kind of like Jesus. If Jesus wasn't real, okay, and he was a fake, why did 12 men, after he dies, after they crucify him, after they witnessed this, why would they go out and perpetrate a lie on the world to lose their life? Because they know it wasn't bullshit. They were there. They saw it. They know in their soul, in their spirit, that God was Jesus is who he said he was. And they went out and they put their lives on the line and they were killed for it. Why would you do that for a lie? Because it's true. There's a lot of things I could go on in that situation, but I mean, I'm just kind of ranting because things just pop into my head. I mean, I don't script none of this. I don't write nothing down. There's no note cards here or there. I just kind of get on here and think, hey, maybe I'll say something about that. And that's what I do. And I don't really pay attention to the news bullshit because it's bullshit. You're lucky if you even get a fraction of the story. And then when you do, it's not even probably right. They want to skew everything. And then there's thousands of people doing this, on the internet. Oh, I got my news thing, I got my news thing. Oh, look at me. I've got my opinion on this, and I've got that. It's like, dude, you don't know shit what's really going on. Okay? You listen to the news media. You're not sitting in that room listening to what's really going on. You didn't see what was really going on over here or go over here, and you can't put it all together because you can't. There's some people that can put it all together because they're powerful and they sit there in all 3, 5, 6, 20 committees and they know exactly what's going on, who said what, and this and that. But you don't have that. You might hear this and go, "Oh, I know what's going on." No, you still don't know what's going on, but you don't know what was said over there. It's like with Netanyahu, and some of the allies and stuff. It's like you don't know what the hell's being said. President says this, not Netanyahu says this, Russia says this, Turkey says this, Iran. You don't have all the information. There's just no way you can know what the hell's going on. God knows what's going on, but you don't. And you want to sit here and make a bunch of comments on stuff. There are some people that are very knowledgeable at this, and that's what they did. They were in intelligence or whatever, but they still don't have all the facts. They can put things together, and it makes it sound good. That's why I don't even, I don't turn the radio on. I got radios in my trucks and cars and tractors and all that bullshit. I don't even turn it on. Because first of all, there's a bunch of fools and idiots on there talking about, oh, today it happened in 1830, this happened and this happened, and oh, in rock, this guy did this back in the 60s, and this guy, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. You know, that's what I like, right there. Silence. There's too much bullshit going on everywhere. You're being bombarded with it. People don't know what to think. So what I said, a lot of times you just need to stop, sit back, absorb that silence, calm your mind, enjoy it. Everywhere you go, you walk into a store, you got the music playing, got this playing, got that playing, and like beep beep beep. Well, somebody come up the front. It's like noise everywhere. If you ever notice, see, even when I'm working out here in the shop, and it's rare. I mean, I do not have the radio on. I don't do that. Now I have some stuff that I might like to listen to. You know, I don't think I have it on there. I might. I don't know. Stuff. Well, like stuff like this. You know what that is? UBS thing. But anyways, stuff like that. If I got things I want to listen to, I put it on one of those. Well, I used to. I mean, now you can just put it on your phone, and if you're smart, and it'll transfer from your phone to your tractor, your truck, car, whatever. You don't even have to put it on anything anymore. You just got the file in your thing, and it just plays it. You see, and no commercials, no listening to the bullshit. I don't care. It's like the Winter Olympics. Man, I wish everybody does well. Somebody's gonna win, somebody's gonna lose. and not always the best wins. They just had a good day, or the best had a bad day. So it's not always that way. It doesn't work that way, okay? And same thing in football. Football, football. It's like as they all sat around watching Rome burn. It's mindless. What does it do for you? Oh, it's an outlet. We can all get around, drink beer, and eat nachos. Well, I mean, good. If you want to sit around, drink beer, and eat nachos, great. Does that be because y'all gonna get there to a football game, or you just want to get together and see some friends and bullshit with each other and stuff? You know, does it have to be because of a football game, or just rather get together and have the camaraderie and some fellowship and stuff with people? I could go on and on. I planned on getting on here, saying what I was going to say. 7, 8 minutes, maybe tops. I don't even know how long it's been. So, folks, y'all take care now, okay? And if you made it this far, man, more power to you. Shit, listening to me rambling on about bullshit. That's funny. Maybe I should have Sam come over and say hi to you. Hey, boy, come here. Come on. Yeah, there he is. See, he's never far away. He's laying over there on his bed. Isn't that right? Laying on your bed. See? He's a good boy, I'll tell you. Now, I'm going to shut this off, okay? All right. All right. He's going to let me, see? Okay, let me.